Good morning and welcome aboard. Welcome to today's session of Trade Along Live with Saul. This is a subscription service that's available. Pop into tradealonglive.com. If you're interested in learning how to trade, go to tradealongtradingacademy.com, tradealongtradingacademy.com. You can select both. You can select one. If you do select the opportunity to be taught and trained by Saul, you receive this Trade Along Live session for free for a year. So welcome aboard. Right now it's 9:26 a.m. on April 5th, 2022. Again, everything we do is for educational purposes only. Nothing's taken as direct trading advice. When Saul pops in, your host, your Trade Along partner, he's going to give out key levels for this morning's session, a roadmap, if you will. It's going to give you a pivot and other levels on top and bottom of that pivot. I think you'll quickly learn, and we let you learn this lesson, that Saul's levels, his roadmap for this morning's trade, is pretty darn good. And that there's an opportunity to be had by paying attention to those areas, he calls them levels and zones, as a trading advantage to you as a participant in this service. We do this every day. This is called Trade Along Live. Trade Along Live with Saul. He's a 25-year veteran trader of the trading pits in Chicago. He's actively scalping. He's looking to do 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 trades this morning. You have the opportunity to trade along with him from an educational point of view only. Receive his scalping levels and zones for this morning's session, his pivot and his other levels on top and bottom of that pivot. Go through the morning session with him and then come back tomorrow and do it again. This is a very well-received opportunity for traders. If you like what we're doing here, tell your friends. Send them to tradealonglive.com, tradealonglive.com. We're here from the hours of 9:30, which is coming up, right, for the trade, till 11:30. We could be done earlier. We could be done right out of the gate, depending on how the price action and the market action is developing and how Saul's levels and zones are doing based on this morning's trade. You have the opportunity to do 2 things here. You have the opportunity to subscribe to the service, and I'll send out that opportunity again now. You have the opportunity to be part of Saul's course and his mentoring work. And that's an add-on to the service. It actually reverses it on you. You end up getting this for free and you pay for that. And it's quite a savings for you. And it's quite an opportunity for you to have Saul as your teacher, wingman, trading coach. Hey, Glenn, how are you? So I just sent that out to everybody. Make sure you're signed up. We had to exit a few people yesterday that weren't playing ball. Self-police yourself, or we'll have to do it for you. Check your status.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Can everybody hear me all right? All right, let's give you our levels for this morning. Our pivot this morning is 45.67, 45.67. Resistance at 76, 85, 97, 46.06. Support below at 59, 52, 45, 33. Pivot 67, support 59. Got right down to 60 and a quarter there. Okay. 52, 45, 33. Resistance at 76, 85, 97, and 46.06. All right. Well, we flushed down to 50. We had 59, got down to 60 and a quarter. That was not nice. Okay. All right. So Kind of welcome to everybody. We are trading mini S&Ps here. We're looking for opportunities to scalp the market based on the levels that we just gave out, in addition to price action opportunities that occur once the market paints some bars. Combination of both those give us our opportunities to find areas in the market that we can scalp. We're looking for about 2 to 3 points, depending on volatility. As you can see here, as the market continues to slowly rally, they suck the volatility out of the market. The VIX probably at a solid 18 or even 17. This afternoon was incredibly slow, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Every day is a new day, so welcome. We're giving out our levels in addition to the price action opportunities. But remember, when the market kind of flatlines like it is right now, and you get our green bands on top of our blue bands, on top of those red bands, even though we don't look at the red bands, it's the market is very, very quiet. The Rose, I just want you to know that I did call you yesterday, and that I couldn't leave you a message because your mailbox was full. So I just want you to know that I did give you a call. I can try to give you a call today again. But I just want you to know that I did give you a call yesterday afternoon. All right, now we're coming all the way back up here to our 76 area. See what it wants to do up here. Again, we quickly drifted down to our, also we had 59, it got down to 60.25, now coming back up here to our upper resistance area here at 76. Market a little bit whippy here, but very, very quiet, as not much is going on overnight. As you can see, our first bar here, once the market opens up, has engulfed a lot of those other bars all by themselves, and that's why we kind of focus on more in the morning hours to give us our opportunities to trade. We feel those are a little bit better for us as far as giving us good chances with whatever volatility is in the market is going to really occur in the morning. And if you've been watching lately, the afternoon trade is very, very quiet, and the dynamics in the afternoon are definitely different than the morning. That's for sure. All right, coming up here again, our green band is right up there against 74. If you did partake, I'll try again today, Rose. It's a 708 number in case you see it on your phone. All right, so we've come up here, kind of banged up against our upper resistance. Got up to 74 and change up there, almost 75. Coming up here again, still on the same bar. Amazing. And morning activity, the first bar can really get whippy, as we've talked about that. Some of our traders like to kind of step back and wait again, wait till that first bar, as you can see, has overtaken that whole last 3 hours of doing nothing. But that's why we kind of focus more on the morning hours to give us our opportunities. If anybody has any questions, if you look at the chat, ask your questions in the chat. And if you look at the chat, you'll see the levels that we have printed in there for you. Let's see if we have any numbers coming out this morning. We do have PMI composite coming out here in about 10 minutes as we come up here and going to test our 76 again, because we got up there already, and it's a little bit riskier right now based on the way it traded against, got right up to 74 and change. So if you are a little bit more risk averse, we got to be a little bit more careful here. And we're coming up here to the settlement price, and it continues to uptick. So again, you have to be a little bit careful there, maybe lighten the load there if you were going to take the 76, ease up on, maybe take the upper end of the range, you're going at 77, something like that to adjust for the miss. We talked about that plenty of times, and even then, we're not even kind of busting through here. So make sure you keep your stops in place and just trade them accordingly. Okay, coming up here, the settlement price here is at 77.75. So kind of working this area a little bit. Definitely should have adjusted against the 76 just because of the price action, I think. I could have mentioned it before, but kind of just should have mentioned it before. So we have Chicago PMI coming out. I mean, not Chicago. It's the PMI composite number is coming out here in about 9 minutes, and then ISM in the services index is coming out here as well. And then, okay, again, we're working this little area here. If you adjusted, I mean, definitely have the settlement price there to help. Where was I at here? Right, so and then so a number at 8:45, about 8 minutes, and then another number at the top of the hour at 9. And we have a few Fed speaks this morning that are going to be talking, and Fed speaks are kind of important these days based on the. All right, we're turning over here just a little bit against this upper resistance here. Again, if you made that little adjustment, hopefully you were able to stay with the trade. And then if you noticed that the settlement price was there, it gave you a little bit more confidence to stay with the trade. And again, a nice little rotation here against it. So a couple of Fed speaks, and Fed speaks could be important based on the fact that obviously the Fed, what the Fed is thinking, how it's going to manage the raising of rates, at what speed, and how what people are thinking is kind of going to be something that the market looks at. So when the Fed speaks, you would definitely have some opportunities here. All right, next level of resistance on the upside we have is up here at the 85 area. So the Fed speaks could be a little bit important, kind of, obvious for obvious reasons. So a little number coming out here in about 6 minutes, and then another number top of the hour. U.S. stock market has notched an impressive rally since mid-March, with the three excuse me. Give me 1 second here. U.S. stock market has notched an impressive rally since mid-March, with the three major indices sailing out of a correction territory in under 2 weeks. The NASDAQ pushed even higher on Monday, climbing 2% on sentiments around Elon Musk's big stake in Twitter. Bulls argue that companies will continue to deliver bumper profits despite the Fed's rate hiking cycle, while so-called meme stocks are recording big increases in options activity. This sharp and unanticipated rebound is having analysts rewrite their latest market forecast, though some are holding strong by comparing it to the bear market trap, Let's see. Bank of America says over the last 2 weeks, S&P has produced one of the sharpest rallies in history, larger than the the biggest 10-day rallies in 7 of the S&P's 11 bear markets since 1927. Said one analyst, it has done so despite the clearly weaker fundamentals, more hikes, higher inflation, curve inversion, and the Fed leaning against equity markets' strength to hike faster. The worsening macro backdrop and market unfriendly Fed makes a sustained U.S. equity gains unlikely in practice, which means lower risk assets. So, we continue to push up here a little bit, looking at the 85 area as our next level of resistance. So yeah, this is, one Morgan Stanley said the bear market rally is over. Declared his analyst that economy is headed for a sharp slowdown as payback and demand from the last year's fiscal stimulus, demand destruction from high prices, food and energy prices spike from the war that's served as tax and inventory builds that have now caught up to demand. Well, I don't know about that yet, but we'll find out. Note that Morgan Stanley has been bearish in 1921, which he later admitted were wrong, as the U.S. benchmark indices powered to continuous record highs. So I guess he's saying that his track record is not that good. JP Morgan, which we talked about yesterday with Jamie Dimon, geopolitical remains a wild card, but we do not see equities fundamentals risk reward to be bearish, as it is clearly fashionable these days. Jamie Dimon also flagged the strength of the U.S. economy in his annual letter to shareholders on Monday, citing the plentiful jobs with wage increases and more than $2 trillion in excess savings. The customer is in excellent financial shape on average, while leverage is among the lowest on record. So there you have it. Everybody's got different opinions as to what's going to happen. And it's definitely tough to try to figure out, right? All right, so now we're just kind of, again, this market is definitely showing some resilience. I keep saying that. That just seems to, again, these rally markets are very tough to trade. We've said this over and over again. They just become very quiet in the afternoon. We get a little volatility in the morning. And if they do continue to push to the upside, definitely it gets slower, and the volatility is definitely sucked out of the market as the day goes on. So keep that in mind. So we focus more on the morning hours to help us. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. We don't mind questions. We are scalping here, trying to find areas of inflection that create an opportunity for us to scalp. We're looking for about 2 or 3 point rotations on our levels. Let's see here. Russian businesses. The war in Ukraine has been a boon for Chinese companies as Western firms continue to suspend or exit their businesses in China. In fact, China's top envoy to Russia has urged the business people in Moscow to seize economic opportunities created by the crisis, like adjusting their company structure and filling the gap in the Russian market. Telecom equipment supplier Highwire saw phone sales in Russia surged 300% in the first half of March, according to whoever keeps track of that. Meanwhile, popular Chinese companies such as Alibaba, Tencent, and I cannot pronounce that, continues to conduct business as usual in Russia, while others that have made a decision to leave have quickly found themselves in hot water. In late February, ride-hailing giant Didi announced it would pull out of the country, only to reverse course 5 days later. Neither statement mentioned geopolitical factors, but users online pointed to the heavy public pressure. If Chinese companies continue to sell in Russia, it could cut off their businesses in the West. Many of the electronics they export often contain high-end semiconductors or are made with U.S. tools and machinery, making them subject to sanctions on Moscow. In the meantime, firms like Huawei are walking a tightrope, refraining from calling out Russia while trying to avoid secondary sanctions. These policies and measures are complex and constantly changing, and Huawei is still in the process of careful evaluation, said the chairman there. All right, we got resistance up here at the 85 area. As the market here slowly rallies. Again, we got a number that just came out. Again, that really did not affect the market that much. And we have another ISM services number that's coming out here at the top of the hour. And then we have Fed speaks at 9 and 10. And then at 1. So all right, we're just kind of just hanging up here. Kind of just hanging around the pivot area, the settlement price area here. We do have a number coming out here at top of the hour, so in about 9 minutes or so. very, very quiet trade. We can only be patient and wait for opportunities here. A little support around the 67 at our pivot, but not really strong. Again, when we kind of sideways trade like this, the market really doesn't give us too many opportunities. We have to be patient and wait. Again, welcome to some of the new folks that are here. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. We are trading mini S&Ps. If you look at the chat, we're going to show our levels that we gave out this morning as a guide to the day. Again, those are areas of inflection. We feel the market will give us an opportunity to scalp. And in addition to price action opportunities, the 76 area here had to take a little bit of heat there, but also could have maybe adjusted a little bit to the upside and stayed in the game. And especially with our settlement price right around there, hopefully we're able to adjust a little bit and stay. We just missed our entry point at the downside by a couple ticks there. So that was kind of annoying right off the morning. And then they've just kind of just taken some of the volatility out of the market right now. We have a number coming out here in about 7 minutes. Maybe that'll give us an impetus, I don't know, to do something. Yeah, we're just again just kind of sidewinding here a little bit. Little support would be back around the 67, our pivot area, which is kind of very quiet trade this morning. All right, it's definitely kind of just hanging out here. We do have a number coming out here in about a couple minutes, so maybe that'll give us something to look forward to. Otherwise, you can see how it could kind of just be a quiet day, but you never know. And at any moment, something could be said, something could be done. We have a lot of Fed speaks this morning, so keep that in mind. Number is going to come out here momentarily. See if that gives us something to trade as the market slowly is definitely hanging around this settlement price here. All right, the number is released and not really doing too much. I mean, still the bids and the offers are fairly light. I mean, it's on the fall. This is still trading the number, so that could be one reason. But still, hasn't really. The orders have not come back in the market, and we're getting, it is moving a little bit more swiftly. We still have a little resistance around the 85 area. And this number is giving us a little bit of trade here. It's kind of hard to say that it was going to rally or break since it's still in kind of the same choppy little range here. And a little resistance around the 85 area. All right, coming up here to the 85 area. They're going to trade it at all. Like I said, the market definitely got a little push here from the number, creating a little volatility to come up here. Right, that did dip down to 84 there and come rotating back up. And I don't know if you were able to get out of some and peel off some profits, especially if you got it on the higher end of the range there. And just come on up here again, continues to push a little bit higher off of this number. All right, we're just kind of hanging around this upper level here. Again, the market kind of just gave a little run up there up to 80, 88 area and then come back down here a little bit. Took a little bit of resistance up there not to get out, but if you did, that's all right. Got support back at the 74 area. All right, nice little rotation here again. If you're able to stay short, against that 85 area. Kind of have to take into consideration the fact that it was on the number and did rotate off of that a little bit. If you got stopped out, that's fine. A little bit of support right in here at 74. Bond market though, kind of breaking, maybe kind of helping. Sometimes you get these moves in the bond market that help, push the bond equities a little bit. To get down here to 74 and pop back up there. If you did jump in there, bought some 74s, you got a nice quick rotation up to 76. And right now the market continues to downtick here. You got to be a little bit quick here with some of these moves. Coming back here, a little support right against 70 here. If you are looking for another quick trade based on this little move that we're getting. Again, the moves are, why they're happening, I don't know, maybe oversold or whatever, or overbought, taking some profits, or somebody saying something because somebody in the bond market is reacting. Again, we have a little support right there against the 70 if you did jump in. It's also our blue band in our 5 minute there. Yeah, somebody definitely did say something, right? It couldn't have been the number because the number was out already. All right, so if anything, we were trying to keep you a little bit short there against that 85. And if not, we had a little bounce against 74. And hopefully we're able to get quickly out. Now continues to downtick here. Be a little bit careful here. We missed the 59 there by just a little bit. So trade that accordingly. And, definitely adjust there a little bit if you're concerned about missing the entry point against 59 by just a little bit. This is a huge little move here. Again, could be somebody said something, could be geopolitical, we don't know yet. The bond market is also reacting to it negatively, creating a little, push here. Both of them are kind of moving in the same direction. Be careful here if you're going to do the 59, just because of the reasons we said before. If you're a little bit more risk averse, you're going to probably look at the 52 area. If you're a little bit more risky taking, maybe you're adjusting downwards a little bit and getting a little bit better entry point. Again, everybody trades a little bit differently. I'm just giving you different options. Definitely a lot riskier because of what we talked about. $52 is our next good support area. This is a big move here, 5 minutes, considering pretty much covered the whole range plus in a little 5 minute bar. Amazing, right? You just never know when these moves are going to occur. Okay, we talked about adjusting there against 59. If you did that, maybe you will definitely have to adjust downward, right? For sure. And if you did adjust to 7, or even if you adjusted down to 8, you're getting a nice rotation here, and there was a legitimate reason to adjust. I'm sure it did there, Don. All right, so if we did adjust against the 59, you did okay. Yeah, it's definitely crazy, right? You had very slow trade with slow pro rotation. Oh wow, look at bond market. It's definitely, yeah, something's up there in the bond market. Somebody said something. Remember, we do have some Fed speaks. Remember, so there's definitely a Fed speak going on. It could be a reason why opening up the floodgates here a little bit crazier trade all of a sudden. There is Fed speak right now, and another one. Um, I think it was like at 11, or if I'm not mistaken, or 10. So there is definitely some people talking that could create some volatility. And I said these days with the Fed doing its gig, and everybody's looking to see what some of these Fed governors are thinking, how they're feeling in regards to what they're going to be doing as raising rates or not. And definitely, if they're going to have any effect on the market, on the bond market like it has, that could be one individual who could push the bond market to make that kind of move as fast as it made that move. And I think it's kind of following through here in the equities. So be mindful of that. Again, you can see there in the chat that somebody put in about what one of these Fed governors are talking or saying, and any one of these moves, especially if they can, create some volatility in the market. I mean, a statement like that about shrinking the balance sheet at a rapid pace as soon as May, that's one person's belief. Okay, the problem, and there's a lot more hawkish and there's a lot more dovish individuals on the Fed governors who are talking. So you have to take, that's what they want to do. Of course, they vote on stuff, and just because somebody says it doesn't mean it's going to happen. And but definitely, you have more hawkish and more dovish, more hawkish speakers and more dovish speakers, and so you get the yin yang kind of effect in some of these. But definitely, if something like that, would move the market. Again, bond market for sure, and I think equities are kind of just following that little trend as we continue to downtick here. We're looking at the 52 of this volatility. All of a sudden, it's too much for you. Then just be patient. Wait for it to subside here a little bit. We're coming down here, going to test our 52 area. Again, if it's a little bit too risky for you, you don't like volatility, nobody's forcing you to trade, kind of just wait till the market kind of settles down a little. Or lighten the number of contracts that you're trading, or adjust to the volatility. I mean, we were dead in the market for a bit there, and then all of a sudden we got so busy, right? Again, that's could be for Fed saying something, Fed governor saying something. Coming down here, going to test this 52 area. All right, nice little rotation there against our 52 area. Again, probably had to scale in. Probably if you had 52, probably did not get filled. Only 12 contracts traded there. If you got in 52 and a half, 53, you got a nice push up here. You're getting your 2-point rotations. The question is, can we get more than that against these little moves, right? And it also depends on how many contracts you're trading. That also is a determining factor. So, and how you scale in, all of these things are determining factors. So, again, the 52 gave us a nice little quick rotation there against our level. If you got 52, maybe you didn't get filled there and you had to adjust because we did rotate off of that. So next level we're looking at is down at 45. All right, if you made the adjustment down there, if you got in at 51 as well, then you're getting a nice little push up here. Again, it's just a matter of how you enter your trades and how you scale in and understanding the risk. And with any trade, we're always putting in our stops, okay? So even though it's a little riskier, again, if you adjust it a little bit, maybe you got in better and you got a nice rotation here. If you adjusted and didn't put the trade in at all, that's fine also. Okay, now we're looking at the 45 area next. Bonds here continue to stay weak. All right, we continue to downtick. Bonds also staying on their lows. Support level, next support level is down at 45. Hey, Don, let me give you some more levels here below 45. If we get down there, we got 33, and then 25, 14, 05, and then 44.98. So below 33, we'll have 45 is next, and then below that we have 33, which we got this morning, and then below that 25, 14, 05, and 44.98. Bonds here definitely carrying the load here for the S&Ps as they continue to downtick. Whoever said what they said is creating some volatility down here. Okay, there are the additional levels we've included. And again, we never know. And I thought for a minute there, we thought we were going up. Then all of a sudden, somebody said something and created a little push here to the downside in the bond market, and we are just kind of following through with that. And again, it's kind of hard to figure out, are we inverse? Are we trading together? And that could change, right? I think we've been trading inversely of the bond market for a while there. And sometimes, I guess, at least for a moment, we were trading, going with it. And now, again, we're making new lows there in the bond market, and we are kind of holding on to our gains here, maybe just hanging in there. So maybe we've stopped following them. I don't know. But I think we were definitely riding on tails of, the S&Ps. The bond market was definitely dragging us down. They could still drag us down. I'm not saying that we're not going to follow them, but we haven't been really trading against bonds for a while. We were doing some inverse trade going there for a bit, but not anymore. It's okay. We got it. We got it done right now. So we have those levels that are correct, the ones that you put up. So we're fine. We're good. I guess we've kind of hung down here. We're maybe kind of holding still here for a bit. Right now, we got resistance around the 65 area.
Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. All right, we seem to have gotten a little bit of a hold here in the market. It's kind of just settled down here a little bit, decided maybe not to continue funding bonds, but just be a little bit careful. The resistance right now is still at 65. Next support level down here at the 45. Oh yeah, I came back late in the afternoon. I was like, oh my goodness, this is brutal. So glad I had to cut out. Okay, again, market continues to be put here under a little bit of pressure as market continues to downtick here. Bonds making new lows. And I think we're kind of just, for at least for the time being, kind of just following what bonds do. Not right away, but kind of keeping it there. I think the market's keeping an eye out on them a little bit. Um, from where they're done. No, which chart? Okay. Yeah, I kind of Yeah, obviously now I see it. Okay. Again, bonds continue to stay weak here. I think it's creating a little push to the downside there. All right, again, bonds stay on their lows. Again, putting pressure, I think, here on these S&Ps. These kind of, well, SPs here are trying to base out, but the bonds could trigger another push to the downside if they continue to downtick here. Resistance would be around the 65 area. Tell you, somebody, whoever triggered the bond market to push this move, make this move in the bond market, did a really good job. They did a really good job with whatever was said there. Pretty good move there in the bond market. And we followed there for a little bit. We're still kind of trying to base out, but definitely whoever decided to say what they said in the bond market is pushing it to the downside, and we're just kind of we've trying to base out here. We got support down at 45. All right. Well, the bonds are S&P is trying to base out here. You can see here. I think if we we got a little support there at 45, but I think if we do push through, we might get a little bit less than that. So be a little bit careful around the 45 right now. Got resistance around the 65 area. The market kind of finally dismissing bonds and rotating back up a little resistance around the 65 area. Again, we had a little rotation here off of these highs, came flushing back down here really quick, and I think there are some Fed speaks today. We talked about that, and that continues to be an issue. As far as the inversion of the yield curve is concerned, let's take a look at some of these yields. The 2-year is trading at well, this was as of 15 minutes ago. So the 2-year to the 10-year has turned inverted. 2 years trading at 249. The 10 years are trading at 252. So definitely inversion there of the yield curve, which again usually leads to some kind of recession in the market not too far down the line.
All right, there we got right up to the 65 there and came off very nicely. Hopefully you were kind of had your orders in place around the 65 area and were able to jump in there and take advantage of that little opportunity. So a nice little push right up to the 65 area that we said that it would have some resistance, and a nice rotation off of that level. Again, we had to be a little bit patient. We had support at this 45, we said, and resistance up at the 65. And we got right up to 65 and bounced right off, giving us a nice little scalping opportunity. Again, we are just looking for those areas of inflection that give us opportunities to trade. Any concept or trade that I would suggest is taught. There's reasons why we would look at these opportunities to trade. All right, so came right up to 65 and bounced off. If you look at the chat, those are levels that we gave out this morning, and those are the ones that we added to on the downside there anyway. But the market has seemed to maybe decided to rotate back up. I think if we get above the 67, which is our pivot, and hold, we might rotate back up to the highs. Downside, again, we have a little support there at 45. And then you have those levels underneath, as you can see. It's just a matter of being a little bit patient and waiting for opportunities. You know, we don't like it was breaking. We had 45 and it's kind of hung there for a bit. Then eventually we rotated off of that, and then came back up to the 65 area that we talked about as having some resistance, and then made nice rotation off of that. And again, it was just a matter of being a little bit patient and waiting. That was a very nice move there with absolutely no heat whatsoever on the upside there against that 65 resistance. All right, we got to get above. I think we have to get above the 67 and hold for us to rotate back up to the top. Otherwise, could go back down and retest the lows, or then we have those levels underneath that you have there in the chat. Again, you could use those levels all day long, and we'll see what happens from there, right? Especially bond market here continues to
stay weak. All right, they're done. Take care. Talk to you tomorrow. All right, we'll take a little bit of a break, come back in a bit, just use the levels going forward, especially as the afternoon here goes on. Be a little bit mindful there of the bond market, as there's definitely some Fed speaks as the day goes on. That's obviously creating a little bit of, as you can see here, they're really concerned about what the Fed is talking about or could do or could not do. Right? So that is what's happening there. I'll get back here in a bit.
A couple quick programming notes as we end the morning session here. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. If you're coming in from the outside, tradealonglive.com, tradealonglive.com. If you're looking for the website, it's tradealongtradingacademy.com. This is a trade along session we do every day. It's called Trade Along Live with Saul. If you're looking to get better at your trading, if you're looking to do better based on your intra-morning trading, stop in, say hello, join us. Go to the link tradealonglive.com, tradealonglive.com. We're here trading days between 9 a.m. and 12 noon, focused on scalping the S&P 500 E-mini. Saul is a 25-year veteran trader of the trading pits in Chicago. He is actively scalping. He is your host and mentor. He is your trade along partner. He has a couple different levels of service. One is this trade along live session, again from 9 a.m. to 12 noon on a daily basis, and the opportunity to work with him in his mentoring and training class. So if you have interest, step up and let us know. Join us at tradealonglive.com. Review the options and opportunities at tradealongtradingacademy.com, tradealongtradingacademy.com. Everything you do is for educational purposes only. Nothing's been taken as direct trading or investment advice. Hey, Dean, how are you? Yahar, how are you today? Anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to post them in the chat area, and we'll be glad to help you. Thank you.